Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about parts of similar triangles. So today's lesson is going to involve some vocabulary that we've used in the past, so I just want to take a minute to review it. The first one is perimeter. So remember, perimeter is just the length of all of the sides of your shape added up. It's the sum of all of your sides. So to find the perimeter, you would just do A plus B plus C. So we're going to be working with the perimeter today. The next one is altitude. So remember, an altitude is when you start at the vertex of a triangle and you create a 90-degree angle with the opposite side. So it's perpendicular to the opposite side. So that's what an altitude is. An angle bisector is a line segment that literally cuts an angle in half. It bisects it, so it creates two congruent angles. And a median starts at a vertex, and it goes across and it cuts the other side in half. It bisects the opposite side. So it's important to note that each of these things, they only have one job. Altitude is only, its only purpose is a 90-degree angle. An angle bisector, its only job is to create two congruent angles, and a median's only job is to bisect the opposite side. Okay, so now we're going to work with proportional parts of similar triangles. So fact 1 says if two triangles are similar, remember the symbol means similar, then the perimeters are proportional to the ratios of the corresponding sides. So here we are told that these two triangles are similar, and they would like us to find the perimeter of triangle GHK. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to find the perimeter of triangle TVW. So I can do that by adding up the three sides. So here we can do 35 plus 37 plus 12, and that will be 84. Now I'm going to use fact 1 to create a proportion. So it says that the perimeters are proportional to the ratios of the corresponding sides. So the only sides that I can create a ratio between are KG and TW. They are the corresponding sides. So I'm going to start with that ratio. And now I'm going to set it equal to the ratio of the perimeters. Well, I don't know the perimeter of this triangle, so I'm going to call that X. And then the perimeter of this triangle we just found is 84. So from here, we can cross multiply. So we do 5 times 84, which is 420, equals 12 times x, which is 12x. Divide both sides by 12, and we get x equals 35. And that is the perimeter of triangle GHK. All right, go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a try. Okay, so here we can start with the ratio of our corresponding sides, so 5 over 6, and then we can equate that to the ratio of the perimeters. So we don't know the perimeter of triangle WXE, so I called it X, and they tell us that the perimeter of triangle SRT is 15, so X over 15. All right, so now we're going to work with the altitude. So it says if two triangles are similar, then the altitudes are proportional to the ratios of the corresponding sides. So here we have two triangles with altitudes. I know that because I see these 90-degree angles. And then they give us a bunch of information. So let's fill in our pictures. So they tell us to find RT. So since it's the segment we're finding, I'm going to call it X. If JL, that's this entire distance, is 12, QS is 8, and KM is 5. So we can just set up our ratio. So our corresponding sides would be 12 and 8. So we can say 12 over 8 equals, and then our corresponding altitudes are 5 and x. So 5 over x. And I'm going to simplify this before we cross multiply. I'm going to divide both by 4. And now we can cross multiply. So we get 3x equals 10, x equals 10 over 3. And we can leave it as an improper fraction. All right, go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a try. Okay, so we started with the ratio of our corresponding sides, 6.5 over 13, and that will equal x over 12. Cross multiply and solve. You get x equals 6. All right, so fact 3 is very similar to fact 2, except it's with a median. So if two triangles are similar, then the medians are proportional to the ratios of the corresponding sides. So here we are told that BG is a median and EH is a median. When I see something like that, I'm going to go in and mark the congruent segments like this. They say find EH, so I'm going to label that median X, if BC is 30, BG is 15, and EF is 15. So let's set up a ratio of our corresponding sides, 30 to 15, and then a ratio of our medians, 15 over x. So let's simplify before we cross multiply. So I divided the numerator and denominator by 15, so we get 2x equals 15. X equals 15 over 2, or you could write that as 7.5. Either way is fine. All right, go ahead and pause the video, noting that since I see two congruent segments, I know that this is a median. Okay, so I set up the ratio of the corresponding sides, 16 to 12, which I simplified, equals 20 over x. So simplify, cross multiply, and solve. You should get x equals 15. Okay, so our last two facts, well, fact 4 is the same as facts 2 and 3 except with an angle bisector. So if two triangles are similar, then the angle bisectors are proportional to the ratios of the corresponding sides. Now, angle bisectors also have a cool fact. If they occur within a single triangle, it says that an angle bisector separates the opposite side. So in this figure, the opposite side would be this one because it's across from the angles, into segments. Here's our two segments. Segments is just parts. That are proportional to the ratio of the other two sides. So this problem they asked us to solve for x. So let's set up a ratio of the other two sides. Let's say 24 over 18 equals 9 over x. In fact, we could set this problem up differently. We could say 24 over 9 equals 18 over x. So saying side over segment, side over segment. We can also flip either of those, both sides upside down, and you will end up with exactly the same answer. But let's work with that first one. Let's start by dividing the numerator and denominator by 6 to simplify, and then we can cross multiply. 4x equals 27, so x equals 27 over 4. So remember, angle bisectors are the only special segments that you can use within a single triangle. You can create a proportion within a single triangle. All right, go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a try. Okay, so here you can see I set up a ratio of the corresponding sides. X plus 3 over 6 equals the ratio of my segments, x over 4. I cross multiplied, make sure you distribute here, and then you solve. You should get x equals 6. All right, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching.